What up? This is WXJM Harrisonburg, the Sam and Dan Show, every Wednesday, 6 to 7. We're mixing things up a little bit today. In the studio with us, we got Mr. West Virginia Rob. You guys know him well.
What's up?
We also have Sam in the studio, too. Wait.
Am I live?
Yeah, you're live.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sam from the Sam and Dan Show.
Yeah, the original Sam from the Sam and Dan Show. So, we're all in here today, and, a lot of people have requested that we hit this topic, so we figured we'd bless it with some knowledge today. We bless you guys with knowledge of this topic today.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course, is spooks and ghouls.
Or ghosts and ghouls also.
Yeah, ghosts and ghouls. When I say spooks, of course, I'm referring to ghosts.
Yeah. Some people might not know. I just wanted to make sure.
No, yeah, definitely safe. All right. So, we're going to start off with a little bit of a ghost story for you guys. Not so much a campfire sit around the story type of story, but more of a long drawn out, really detailed, really fleshed out ghosting haunting type of story.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, first thing we're covering today, the Amityville Horror. You guys have probably seen the movies. Well, I think there were 2 movies that were made.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not sure. But I know there are movies of it. But they truly do not do this story justice because there's just so much fact and what's the word I'm looking for?
Juicy info.
Yeah, juicy info behind it that the movie just cannot fit in.
I mean, they have a budget. They can't fit everything in.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, we have no budget here. Absolutely limitless.
We have a limitless budget.
Yeah. So, I guess we do have a budget. But
It's limitless.
it's limitless. All right. So, here we go. Starting off. So, the Amityville Horror, it takes place in this house, 112 Ocean Avenue, which is in New York, I'm pretty sure. And it starts off 1974. The DeFeo family lives there. And the youngest, not the youngest, but the the middle son,
Mm-hmm.
Ronald DeFeo, he killed his whole family. There were 6 of them. Mass murder. The town just absolutely astonished because no one saw this coming.
I might have.
Yeah, West Virginia Rob probably did, or would have if he was alive back then, but he wasn't.
No.
He's alive now, in studio with us. Anyways, so this house, there was a bunch of murders in it, okay, and we're not going to cover those too deeply because we're not talking about murders. We're talking about ghosts.
Of course.
Yeah, so we're skipping ahead. A year after this. The murder's still fresh in the minds of all the people. The Lutz family stumbles upon the house. And the Lutz family, it's Mr. and Mrs. Lutz. They got 3 kids, and they actually have a dog that's a mix of a Malamute and a Labrador, which I have no idea what that would look like. Malamutes are huge. Labradors are kind of medium. So I'm sure it was
Just imagine that in your head while we tell the story. It's a very big piece of the story.
Yeah, it's absolutely imperative to the tale. Anyways, the Lutzes, George and Catherine, they see this house come up on the market in Ocean Avenue. They're hyped. It's a great place to live,
Of course. 5 bedrooms? I mean, come on.
Yeah, outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. So they see it come on the market for the low price of $80,000. And you're like, that's just an absolute deal. Anybody would snag that. And so they go and check out the house, and the real estate agent does inform them, yes, 6 people were murdered there. And do you have a problem with this? And the Lutzes, they take this information, they bring it to the kids, they pass it around, they run it past the dog as well. Everyone says, hey, it's cool, we're not superstitious, we're not worried about that sort of thing.
Some people said they're even more excited.
Yeah, the kids were absolutely thrilled, I bet. the kids were so happy to finally have something interesting going on in the house. Some sort of some ghouls to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
or ghosts. We haven't distinguished between ghouls and ghosts yet, but we will. Again after the story's done. But anyways, yeah. So they do end up buying the house. Of course, it's a deal. They don't care about ghosts at all. And however, the real estate agent does suggest that they that they get the house blessed just in case there are ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I guess the Catholic Church, they'll bless your house for free. So no investment for possible big payoff of not having any ghosts in your house. So I see why that could be seen as worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I think it'd be kind of fun to have ghosts in your house. And I actually grew up with ghosts in my house, which something else I'll get onto later.
Nice.
Anyways, getting back to it. So they call in this guy. His name's Father Ralph J. Pecoraro. Very Italian man. Just the most Italian Catholic priest you could imagine. Pasta streaming out of his pockets. Tan skin. He's got the classic Catholic priest look,
Mm-hmm.
except his shirt's buttoned down. He's got tons of hair popping out with a big golden crucifix.
Big old V-neck.
Yeah, and
Golden
he's always saying,
cross. Yeah.
he's always saying, "Hey," like he's this,
Bibbidi-bobbidi.
yeah, bibbidi bobbidi. Yeah, the man's really Italian, and I should say most of most of the people who live in this area are very Italian, wife beater wearing, hairy pasta slurping types, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
Anyways, it was very important to mention that he was Italian, and we'll get into that later. Anyways, they call in this priest, Ralph Pecoraro, and he comes by, and he's running through the house, and he's busting all the rooms individually, because that's the only way to truly keep a ghost out. You can't just go and bless the whole house, because it's just not as powerful as when you spread it in between each individual room.
Mm-hmm.
So he's hitting all the rooms, and he gets up to one of the top rooms, and he's blessing it. He's spraying, he's spritzing holy water everywhere. He's praying. He's hitting the Father,
cross?
Son, Holy
Yeah.
Ghost thing. Probably eating pasta of some sort, if I had to guess.
Rotini, penne.
Yeah, really any of those. But he hears a deep voice say, "Get out."
A deep
Oh.
like a very masculine voice.
Oh, very masculine. Just the most masculine voice you can imagine.
I've also heard that they had very strange odors they could smell.
Oh yeah?
There was the dad
Mm-hmm.
would always wake up at 3:15 a.m. which is
Exactly.
exactly every
That's
morning,
pretty early.
and that's
Yeah.
when Ron DeFeo carried out his murders. Is that a coincidence? Obviously not.
I would say that's not a coincidence. So, certainly something going on in that house.
And Ron was a man. There's a man voice.
Oh.
So
It sounds like to me, they may have actually had a stowaway,
Oh,
some
okay.
sort of homeless vagrant living in their house. Strange smells, unusual noises,
Yeah?
some murders. I think it could be some street rat snuck in, made themselves comfortable, and were hiding inside the walls.
I think that's definitely a possibility, especially when you got a big Italian family in there. They're cooking up outrageous amounts of pasta and sauce.
every rat's gonna go there.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Ratatouille?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Rats are going to be there. Human vagrants from the streets,
mm-hmm.
drawn in by the alluring smell of pasta and spices.
Yep, two big categories of things that can get stuck in your walls.
Yeah. And when you're making all that food, it's gonna sink into the walls.
Yeah.
I mean, the smell is gonna just sit there and linger,
Absolutely.
and over time, it's gonna start smelling,
Mm-hmm.
like most places do.
Like marinara.
Yeah.
And that's going to
Old
get
marinara.
all the vagrants in there.
It's like spilling milk in a carpet. It's
Yeah.
just not good.
You're not getting that smell out.
That sounds pretty bad.
Trust me.
Okay.
I live with it.
Yeah. Getting back to the story. So the priest hears this get out, and it spooks him. It gives him a good spook, but he's not too worried about it. In fact, when he leaves, he doesn't even tell the family that he heard it. He actually waits till he gets home, and then he calls them, and he says, "Hey, by the way, I heard a masculine, manly, tough voice say, 'Get out,' in the upper room. So just don't go in there, but the rest of your house is good."
Mm-hmm.
And I have to pose the question, is it worthwhile to have a really cheap house if one of your rooms is owned by a ghost? You have some sort of ghost who lives there for free in your home?
I would try and charge him rent at least.
Yeah, I
Write
think
up a
that's only fair.
contract.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's not fair to be taking up valuable space
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
as an incorporeal form. And, from the people who are actually paying rent.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely. Ghosts, have some class.
Exactly.
If you're going to stay in a house,
I mean, at least
do
cook,
something.
cook dinner once a week or something.
Do something for the family. Or if the neighbors are being annoying, give them a spook. Do something. Help somebody out.
Mow the grass, poltergeist the trash outside.
Yeah. Just toss
Something useful.
Do something, man. Walk the dog. Anyways, the priest, he told the Lutz family, stay out of the second floor room, and they actually researched this room, and they found out that's the room where Mark and his wife DeFeo,
Kathy.
yeah, Kathy, that was his wife's name. That's the room where they were murdered. So,
Shoot, dog.
prime haunting spot is what I'm saying. Just
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it.
also, it's important to say, the Catholic priest, he also reported that after he visited the house, he had blisters on his hands and feet, similar to a stigmata wound, which are, for those who don't know, the wounds of Christ when he was on the cross. So he's got like blisters on the palms of his hands and on the soles of his feet. That, again, it could be due.
Him being Italian.
It's possible maybe the priest had allergies to not only the carpets and floors in the house,
Mhm.
but the ghost presence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm thinking about that. Say this large Italian man, he's cooking he's cooking up some pasta on the burner. He's got himself a cast iron skillet.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting to work and he's getting really excited. He sees the salsa bubbling. He smells that flavor and he gets too excited. He reaches with both his hands to grab the cast iron pan, and he burns his hands. He gets blisters
Yeah.
right in the palms of his hands, which
And
is
he drops it abruptly, and
Yeah.
it spills over his feet.
all over his feet. There's your blisters. So I think he might have just been an overzealous Italian man who just
Really wanted pasta.
he couldn't live with the fact that he was a grubby Italian man and not some sort of ghost hunter. And so he threw that in there. Again, that's just speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, there were a lot of experiences listed by the families. Of course, West Virginia Rob read some. Do you have any others, or?
Well, a couple of these are years after they've moved out of the house already.
Oh,
They-
okay.
They moved out of the house within like a month, I believe, like 20-something days.
Oh, okay.
So they bought the house and were out of there because they were scared of the ghost that was within.
Pathetic.
And they asked Ron DeFeo years later, who was serving life in prison, of why he killed his family, and he heard that a voice was telling him to kill his family from within the house.
Interesting.
So it doesn't seem like Ron is the possessed one, or he was possessed by another spirit within the house itself.
Okay.
But
That's-
he didn't have any actual haunting powers of his own
No,
from prison.
no
No.
spooking powers or anything.
He has 0 spooking powers,
Interesting.
other than he killed 6 people. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Well,
not
man.
really spooking power, I would say.
That's more just scary powers.
an achievement. Also, the son of the Lutz family, he still lives, or he did live in New York for a while afterwards, and they asked him what his thoughts were of the house, and he says that house ruined his life, and he had nightmares until forever of that house and of just random things that would cause him nightmares at night.
Dang.
Interesting.
I mean, I can't say I blame him for that.
Yeah?
I feel like my childhood home also caused all of my life issues. Not because it was haunted, which it was, but just because it was just so gosh darn big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to walk so far to get up and eat breakfast. I think that really impacted like my development
Yeah.
Mhm.
as a child.
I think also it's probably why my knees are so bad and my ankles, because I had to do so much walking around the home.
Mhm.
It's hard having a big home.
Of course.
You wouldn't imagine.
Right. Just undue stress.
Exactly.
And, you know, when you couple with the fact that it was haunted, I don't know. I'm getting a little late into this. Do you guys share your own personal ghost stories yet?
Oh, not yet.
All
We're
right.
we're gonna dive into that. We got a quick break coming up right now. We'll be back with you in about 30 seconds.
All right.
Just one more lap, and Eggle will be the youngest winner in. Wait a sec. Why is he pulling into the pit?
Tom, what the? Just remembered, it's my 18th birthday. I gotta register with Selective Service. Get me the Wi-Fi laptop. But look, registration's important to our country and to me. I can't even renew my driver's license most places unless I register. Tom! And by the time you're through arguing, I'm already done.
Guys, register with Selective Service online at sss.gov or at the post office.
It's the law.
What up? WXJM Harrisonburg. This is the Sam and Dan show.
Featuring West Virginia, Rob.
We got him here live in studio right now,
Here I am.
just doing his thing.
There he is, folks.
We were talking about the Amityville Horror, covering some of the finer points of a really legendary, I should say, a ghost or ghoul event. I would lean more towards ghoul for this one instead of ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, when we left off, we were covering the pre-stigmata wounds. He claimed he got stigmata wounds after visiting the home.
Mm-hmm.
And he of course, he informed the family. He warned them to be careful. Rob went over a couple of things that the family saw in the home. But there were a few others, such as the 5-year-old daughter of the Lutzes. Her name was Missy. She developed an imaginary friend named Jody, who was like a demon pig with glowing red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, wow.
that wouldn't really be interesting because kids come up with terrible imaginary friends all the time. However, the family claimed to have seen this pig walking around the yard. And again, I don't know how to describe a demon pig as opposed to a normal pig with red eyes. I imagine it would be larger, maybe horns of some sort, maybe powerful trotters. But that's really it. Again, not proof of ghosts. More of just an interesting imaginary character made up by a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Supposedly spotted by other people as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I think gives a little bit of weight to the demon pig aspect of it. Beyond what normal pigs weigh.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely gives some credence to it. Kathy Lutz also reported that when she was in the house, she felt the sensation of being embraced in a sort of loving manner by some sort of unseen entity. So I guess she's walking around and she feels like she's getting a hug from nowhere.
That sounds nice.
Sounds great. I mean, I've never felt that feeling before.
Yeah.
It's never been hugged, but I
Yeah.
can imagine it feels great.
Yeah. We here on the Sam and Dan show, we would love to know what that feels like, and I'm sure, and I'm sure that she really enjoyed it, and that I think is more of a positive aspect of. I would say that sort of force is ghostly as opposed to ghoulish,
Yeah.
because ghost can be good. Think of Casper, and so secret embraces I think definitely are ghostly as opposed to ghoulish.
Yeah.
Again, not really something to be complaining about. Kathy, get off your high horse. Also, it was reported that the house was plagued by swarms of flies.
Like Lord of the Flies?
Yeah, even in the winter. Which, again,
Oh. Sounds like a lot of hoopla to me.
yeah. The thing is, they're in New York.
All right, reality check. Flies don't live in the winter. So, checkmate.
But that's the interesting thing, though. They're reporting all these flies in the middle of winter. How? Except for ghouls. I ask you, how except for ghouls?
That's a good point. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been to upstate New York, and it gets pretty chilly there in the winter. Some would say like invading Russia in the winter.
Yes,
levels of cold.
Okay.
Close.
Bitter.
Close.
Like 50, 40 degrees.
We're talking like -50,
Oh.
-40 degrees.
Celsius?
Yes.
Kelvin?
Right. We're approaching absolute zero atomic movement
Jeez.
when you're in upstate New York. It's
Yeah.
that cold. So for the fact that there to be flies buzzing around and, minding their own business, doing fly stuff, and obviously multiplying at an exceptional rate, if
As they
there's
do.
clouds of them around the house, then, I mean, I think there's just something suspicious going on there. Like maybe they're just drawn to a source of evil. As we all know, flies are quite evil creatures just by default. I mean, you ever look at them when they sit down on their food, they start, maniacally curling their hands on it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
like
they
they're
start rubbing their
plotting
hands
something.
together like they're
Right, exactly.
preparing for some evil deed.
And, just imagine that 24/7 times 50,000 or however many flies they got.
50,000,
think-
yeah.
I think that's just just ballpark numbers there.
Yeah.
I say that's a pretty evil presence.
Definitely evil.
You know?
And finally, the last the last thing we're gonna cover, the last experience of the Lutz family that I'm gonna bring up, Kathy, she received red welts on her chest by an unseen force, and she levitated 2 feet in the air. Again, she was the one to report this. The thing about Kathy,
She's a great woman.
she is, yeah,
Fantastic.
cooks some mean food
Great pasta.
Yeah.
But she lies.
every once in a while. I feel like, maybe, yes, she did wake up with some red dots on her chest. Maybe she levitated 1 foot, but 2 feet, please.
I think that's a little unbelievable.
Yeah,
I was gonna say 2 feet seems a little too high. I mean 1 foot, that's possible.
I mean, just looking at the pictures of the house before it was demolished, you can see that like the average height probably not much higher than 7 feet. Looks like she was about 5'7".
that's
And
right. Yeah, those are real numbers.
I'd say levitating that far, 2 whole feet, you would be pushed through the ceiling, which is unlikely.
Yeah.
So I would say maximum 1 foot, maybe 1.5 feet of levitation.
And let me
Possible.
also add, one of the most legendary levitators of all time, David Blaine, he can only get a 1.5 feet. So I think it's preposterous to imagine this woman could beat David Blaine in
I
a
mean,
levitation
nobody can,
contest.
so
I think that's absolutely outrageous. Of course, this could be due to ghouls that she's levitating. Perhaps the ghouls are playing a joke on her. The red pokes, maybe someone was trying to poke her chest and wake her up. Again, we don't know. But Kathy, 2 feet's a little much, don't you think? All right. So, in conclusion to this Amityville horror story, January 14th, 1976, a few months after they moved in, the whole Lutz family move out of 112 Ocean Avenue, and they actually leave all their possessions behind. Which, were they scared? Were they just sick of the house, maybe? The flies started to get to them, I imagine. The demon pig, probably annoying.
yeah,
And the neighbors, too, most likely.
probably yeah.
Typical house stuff.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those problems myself. Mostly the demon pig thing
Yeah.
and the flies.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Again, Amityville Horror, it was blown way out of proportion. People, movies were made about it. People were really excited. The thing is, when people hear ghost stories, they always exaggerate and they take them too far. Usually when ghosts are present, they're pretty tame,
Oh yeah.
Again, as opposed to ghouls, which are rather evil creatures. dude.
Yeah, there's like ghosts like there's ghosts not really evil. There's a great documentary
Mhm.
where this man named Patrick Swayze becomes a ghost while he's married to his wife,
Yeah.
and the only way he can communicate to the real world is through the fortune teller of Whoopi Goldberg.
Just a. Yeah.
And it's a great documentary to show that ghosts don't really have that much impact on the world.
Yeah.
There's very little impact that they have
Mhm.
until they reach their true ghosty talent,
Mhm.
and at that point they are taken away from the world.
Yeah.
They are gone.
And if you are a ghost, the only way you can really communicate with the world is through a Whoopi Goldberg-esque character.
Mhm.
Somebody strong, someone with a mighty booming voice, such as Whoopi Goldberg.
Mhm.
That's really the only way you can communicate with the world. So, the Ghost-Whoopi combo, powerful. Ghost alone, not very strong. Whoopi
Yeah.
Goldberg alone, pretty strong.
Pretty strong. And you add a little Patrick Swayze ghost in there.
Yeah.
Becomes
Yeah,
incredible.
you got yourself, a great documentary, Ghosts with Patrick Swayze again, classic. Other example of ghosts, of course, I mentioned earlier Casper. You guys all know Casper, the friendly ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Also Bruce Willis from The Sixth Sense. If you haven't seen that, tough luck.
He's
'cause
a ghost the whole time. Boom.
Also Danny Phantom. He was a ghost,
Mhm.
but also human.
He could transform back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
A wild boy.
That's pretty nuts. I wish I could transform back and forth between things.
Yeah, you can.
But see, normal people can only turn into a ghost once.
Yeah, it's true. You just got to decide when to do it.
Use it wisely, folks.
Okay, so I think it's fair to run some distinctions between ghosts and ghouls real quick, because I've been mentioning both throughout this. Ghosts, and these are hard and fast laws of
Mhm.
ghosts and ghouls, ones that cannot be broken and are indeed fact, proven.
Written in stone.
Yeah, literally written in stone. Ancient tablets.
Gravestones, you could say.
Nice. Anyways, ghosts can be good or bad, and ghouls are inherently bad.
Yes.
When you're thinking Amityville Horror, you're thinking ghoul. He's doing ghoulish things. He's summoning evil pigs. He's bringing flies. He's causing the poor Italian priest to burn his hands on his pasta.
He's making somebody kill his whole family.
Yeah, also that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking ghost, you're thinking Casper. He gets into some trouble, but really, at heart, he's a good guy.
He gets himself into some hijinks, but they're funny hijinks.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, like we mentioned earlier, Patrick Swayze, he just wants to talk to his wife.
That's it.
Yeah. Also, ghosts float, which is important because ghouls actually secrete slime in order to propel themselves. And, of course, the slime is plasma.
Mm-hmm.
And, just so you guys can imagine this, have you ever seen Ghostbusters? Slimer, classic ghoul.
Classic.
Yeah, squirts slime in order to move. It's classic propulsion. Ghosts don't need that. They sort of float, like the wind blows them around, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That, of course, mode of transportation.
That reminds me, Dan.
Yeah.
Actually, have you guys ever seen that movie? What is it? Wrath of Poseidon or something? It's about the explorer team that finds like an abandoned cruise ship out in the middle of the ocean. Well, it's a cursed, haunted cruise ship.
Okay. Here we go.
And it's important to note that all the evil spirits on the boat are
Mhm.
not ghouls. They're ghosts.
Okay.
Because ghosts can float on land and on water
Yeah.
and in air.
Yeah, that's true.
So usually if you're encountering a water-bound spirit that is not on a boat, it's a ghost.
Yeah,
Okay.
Some ghouls, as we'll get into later,
of course.
do pilot their own boats to get on water. But
Oh,
generally
yeah.
they try and avoid water.
Mhm.
So, going back, King Arthur, Lady in the Lake, probably a ghost, not a ghoul.
Yeah.
That's just a illustration of that concept for you listeners.
No, thank you. That was definitely enlightening. And really quickly,
You're welcome.
ghosts are usually people who can't find rest, after they pass. They take their one time to turn into a ghost. And ghouls, on the other hand, they either were never human, some sort of beast, or they were a really bad guy. Think of the baddest guy you can, and then multiply him by 2, and then give him the ability to shoot slime. That's a ghoul.
That's a cool.
That's absolutely ghoulish. And they're usually green. Little green ghouls, Little green ghouls, buddy. You know what I mean?
I think Charlie does.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to hit you guys with some promos real quick. So, coming up this Friday, if you're in the Berg, Personal Space, Normal Slate, Cyber Twin, and Miss Angel Bird at Lon Lon Ranch. That's at 10 p.m. This Friday. We got Foxy Dads. We got Dunce Cap. We got Dad Pop at Lon Lon Ranch again, 9:30. And that's coming up next Wednesday, March 21st. And then the week after that, we're giving you guys a big heads up. Week after that, Thursday, March 29th, New England Patriots, Buck Gooder, and Buck Gooder, and then one other band that's to be announced. I guess I haven't decided yet. They're playing at Little Grill Collective, 8:30 p.m. Friday, March 30th, the day after the last one, we got 2-Inch Astronaut, Your Ex's Pets, and Kettling. We're playing at Crayola at 9 p.m. Finally, last announcement, Friday, April 6th, and Saturday, April 7th, we got Mac Rock 21. It's going to be absolutely wild. Some of the bands there, The Royal They, Sounds of Ceres, Casillas, Negative Gemini, Battlemaster, McKinley Dixon, and many, many more. Mac Rock's always a good time, folks. So, if you're in the Berg and any of those things sound like fun, why not go to them?
Exactly.
And you're listening to WXGM Harrisonburg, Sam and Dan Show.
Every Wednesday, 6 to 7 on every Wednesday.
West Virginia Rob in the studio.
That's me.
Yeah, we're talking ghosts. We already covered Amityville Horror. We ran some distinctions between ghosts and ghouls. And I think now we're going to get into some personal tales. I know a couple people in studio right now have had some interactions with ghosts. Perhaps ghouls also.
One or the other. And actually, listeners, if you want to call in and give us your ghost story, our number is 540-JMU-DIAL. Again, that's 540-JMU-DIAL.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give us a call. I'll take your calls and let the people know what's up if you share your story with us.
Yep. All right. So, Sam, I hear you have a tale for us. Some sort of ghoulish activity, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this one goes way back, and there's really something that stuck with me for a long time, just because of how distinct it was. So I'm just absolutely, some ghost stories are like, oh, I'm not sure. I was afraid. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I was stressed out. I had chili for breakfast. Things like that.
Yeah,
All
you're getting the
sorts of
sweats.
excuses.
You're getting the chili sweats
Get
late
the
at
meat
night.
sweats, dude.
Yeah, you
Right.
don't know if it's a ghost or just the chili passing.
But I'm talking prime of my life. Absolutely nothing going on upstairs. Certified clean idol in the brain case.
Yeah, of course.
And so about I was probably 12 or 13 years old.
Clean brain. Absolutely pure.
Right. Untainted.
Well developed.
Hadn't seen a rated R movie yet.
Yeah. No.
That pure.
Yeah, worst movie he'd seen then is Dinotopia.
Oh, that movie's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I do not recommend that one. It's 7 hours of torture. Yeah, so I was minding my own business, doing my thing. What is that? Elementary school, middle school? I think middle school, right?
Yeah, I think it's middle school.
Yeah, so I was just laying on my bed, staring up at the ceiling, not doing my homework. And I had placed my homework on the dresser because I was so bored with doing it. And I was just kind of taking a quick day nap.
Of course.
And then next thing I know, with a huge amount of violence and force, my pencil holder next to me, next to my bed, was flung across the room at high speed One of the pencils lodged in the wall. The other ones fell on the floor. And they made all sorts of marks on my paper that was resting across the room.
Huh.
And keep in mind, I didn't have my windows open. I didn't have the fan going. I didn't even have dogs or pets back then, except for hermit crabs, but those were not in the same room. So I don't think it was them.
Hermit crabs.
The pet that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it's just good fun, dude.
Pretty exciting stuff. They smell bad. They make shells.
They don't do anything,
Cool
and
shells,
they
just
smell
walk
bad.
around and stuff.
Yeah, classic hermit crab stuff. Anyway, they were in a completely different part of the house. Thank God. But hideous creatures, really. And so they didn't do it. I didn't do it. I certainly didn't throw my pencils. I mean, despite what my parents may have said, blaming me for having an outburst against my homework, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of shocked. I didn't feel like I was alone in the room anymore. Like I said, my pencils were thrown violently across the entire length of my room, which is like 15, 20 feet. I don't know. I'm not good at distance, but a significant distance and with severe force. And I don't know if that was a sign from beyond, because most of my family members, actually pretty much all my relatives, were alive at that time.
Huh.
No one had died in my house that I know of. I wasn't near any Civil War battlefields.
No.
Or anything that would cause ghost
What about
behavior.
Indian burial grounds? On top
Ancient
of those,
Indian burial
perhaps?
grounds?
I don't even think there were Indian burial grounds around there.
Huh.
So it's just kind of like a big question mark for me as to what that ghost wanted, besides for me to get my homework done.
Allow me to pose to pose an explanation of sorts. So in my research, and I think West Virginia can agree on this because he's done a fair bit of research on this topic. A lot of times when you're young, you're young and impressionable, you got a lot of negative energy, you're looking at the math, you're saying, this is lame, I don't want to do this. You start getting mad, and that sort of negative energy attracts ghosts. It sort of brings them to you. They sense the negativity, and they're trying to encourage the negativity. They want you to be just as negative as them. Of course, poltergeist being one of the most negative ghosts. And so it decides, how can I make this little boy even sadder? He's suffering. He doesn't want to do this homework. So he throws your pencils all over the ground.
Just to goof you.
Just to goof you, yeah. It's like when kids used to take a deck of cards and play 52 pickup. No one likes that. And it just hurts. And I think that's really what the poltergeist was going for. And probably what shaped Sam to be the character he is today. So
that makes sense to me. I mean, ever since that day, I have never procrastinated when a ghost has acted on my assignment.
Yeah, never.
So it hasn't happened again since. So I'm free to procrastinate on regular assignments.
Yeah.
But anytime some, unearthly spirit has made its mark on something I'm supposed to be doing but not, I do it.
Yeah,
Sounds
absolutely.
like good advice.
It definitely makes sense.
And that's something I believe if our listeners have been affected by an otherworldly spirit about not getting around to work, let this be your call from the heavens. Get to work.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sam. I think that's going to inspire a lot of people. I'm going to get into some ghost stories that I've experienced in my life.
Okay.
I grew up in a house,
No way.
extremely haunted. Many ghoulish, well, I should say ghostly activities happened in my house. I'll start off with the first one in a series of ghost activity that I believe is interconnected, all woven together. So first, elementary school. I'm laying in bed. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just staring at my ceiling because one of my friends told me it helps you sleep because I was really bad at sleeping. It helps you sleep if you just stare at something for a really long time because you just bore yourself to sleep, which, of course, I was good at. So I was staring at the ceiling, and anyways, as I'm staring, I see this woman start to form and come from the ceiling, and it's like it's coming down at me, and she sort of beckons at me with her hand, sort of like a come here, not a come hither, of course, but a full come here.
Okay.
Yeah. And she sort of beckons at me, and then she sort of phases back into the wall. And at that point, I did not sleep for the rest of the night because I was terrified. I just sort of laid in bed.
You didn't follow her
No, and
answer her beckon?
looking back, I should have.
It could have been anything.
It really could have.
Most likely a ceiling, but
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, and going off of that story, later on, this happened just probably 2 years ago, I think. I was laying in bed again, trying to fall asleep. Same bed, same room. And I should add, the bed I sleep in is extremely small. My feet actually hang off.
Bad news.
Yeah, it's just not a good time. Anyways, I'm laying in this small, cramped bed, trying to fall asleep, and all of a sudden I get this feeling that I should open my eyes. The sort of feeling you get when someone's staring at you from across the room,
Mm-hmm.
and you quickly look over at them, and then they look away, and then you look away. That sort of stare.
Okay.
So I felt some eyes burning into me. So I looked over to the left of me, and there's a woman standing there, and just looking down at me.
Is it the same woman?
I couldn't get a positive ID.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her an ocular pat down. Just same thing I did to the woman who came out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. My young brain, it just didn't remember what she looked like, the one who came from the ceiling.
Okay.
But I would say yes, probably, most likely. Same woman. Anyways, she's looking down at me, and I immediately spring up. My legs don't leave the bed, but I blast like an ab curl, and I stand up, and I outstretch my arms to go for her neck, because I thought she was an intruder, so I was getting ready to strangle her.
As any homeowner does.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
that's what you should do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a homeowner and anyone breaks in, go for the neck. Always a good place to start. So yeah, that was definitely probably one of my scariest ghost interactions. But there are others. So, same house, down in our laundry room, we have a door that goes from the laundry room to our backyard. Many times, my mom has heard it, my older brother's heard it, and I've personally heard it many times. You hear the sound of the back door opening and then closing, and we always get afraid because we think that someone's breaking into our house, but you go into the garage and there's nobody there. And it's happened before when I've been sitting downstairs. It's like 10 o'clock, I'm watching TV by myself, and I hear the door open and close. And so I go out there, again, nobody.
You don't see anybody.
Oh, what are you saying, West Virginia?
There could be someone there. You just don't see him. It could have been me. I mean, it's not, but
Is it, though?
Anything's possible, really.
Yeah?
I don't think we can rule anything out in this scenario. I mean, we're just missing, the lack of detail that comes from a secondary source, because
Yeah.
we're getting it from a primary source.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're at secondary and tertiary sources, you can start filling in the gaps where need be. But when the primary source don't know what the heck going on,
mm-hmm.
there's just not enough info to tell what the heck going on.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I am the primary source. But there are other witnesses. My mom's experienced it, my brother's experienced it. So I'd say it definitely happened.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something in that house. I'm really glad that we're moving.
Oh, looks like we're getting a call. I'll take this one, folks.
Yeah, that's all Sam.
Go for it. All right.
We're waiting on bated breath to see.
Hey, it's our boy calling in.
Oh, okay. Hey, we have a lot of boys, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to see which one of our boys. Of course, West Virginia Rob is the main boy, but there are others. There are
Hold
others
on.
who work under him.
There's a report. Apparently, there's Dan's housemate and older brother.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, there would be banging in the back door and footsteps on the porch.
Oh, snap.
Oh, the laundry room door would slam shut
Yeah, that's
around
what I heard
midnight
too.
at night every night.
Yeah.
Every night?
Well,
frequently at night.
Yeah,
Okay.
many nights.
Every night that it slammed shut, it was at midnight.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Midnight is the spookiest time of the night.
I'm telling you, folks, there's something going on in my house. Of course, I don't live there anymore. I have an apartment.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Again, far too ghoulish.
Apparently, folks, there were also footsteps on the second floor.
Yeah.
And, in modern construction, there's a little bit of house settling, but sometimes you can just tell when it's definitely footsteps.
Oh, you definitely can, especially when it's successive. For a creaking, you only hear one creak, but this
When it's a squeaky floor.
yeah, you hear many steps. And of course, we've all experienced that, and it scared all of us who's lived in that house. And right now we're hitting 6:45, so we got West Virginia with the weather. What do you got to say, West Virginia?
Well, for the upcoming week in the Berg, tomorrow's going to be a high of 48, a low of 27, partly cloudy. On Friday, high of 43, low of 22, sunny, so that's good. Saturday, on St. Patty's Day, it's supposed to rain.
Yep,
50% chance of rain, and only a high of 45, low of 25. And on the day after, on Sunday, partly cloudy, high 54, low 31. And then back to Monday, supposed to have some more rain in the nighttime. We have more rain. And only a high of 50, low of 35.
All right, thanks for that, West Virginia.
All right. It sounds like I'll be breaking out the galoshes later in the week.
Absolutely. You listen to WXJM Harrisonburg, Sam and Dan show, every Wednesday, 6 to 7. Of course, we got Sam.
Hello. That's me.
Yeah, West Virginia in the studio.
What's up?
We're talking ghosts. We just covered a couple personal stories, things that have really shaped who I am as a person. I had experiences with ghostly females, and now I'm terrified of women.
I've also had an experience with a ghostly female.
Oh, yeah.
This is growing up. This was in my high school. When I was a freshman.
I like where this is going.
This was a known ghost around the school for years. Many people.
Yeah.
Because years before, a girl killed herself in the bathroom.
Tragedy.
And she was known to be moaning.
Like wailing,
A little
mailing.
moaning because nobody would listen to her, so she would moan very loudly, and her
like
her
that
voice
sort of
could be heard for years after she died in the one bathroom.
Yeah.
The girls' bathroom, by the way.
Mm.
And nobody ever went in there other than to hear her moans.
And the girls went in there sometimes.
Barely.
No man ever stepped foot in that bath.
Yeah. We were all boys at that time.
Yeah. But we did go in because we were boys.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, she killed herself. Her name was Myrtle.
Dang, like the beach. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but it spelled differently, but you would say it's the exact same way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
So that was in our high school in the girls' bathroom. So
I remember that. That bathroom had like a big bathtub in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly interesting. Really weird design for a high school bathroom.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at one point it was invaded by a giant or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's also where you discovered the secret of that golden egg. Remember when you're given the golden egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, and something Horcruxes and dragons.
Man, that was pretty sweet. Those were the days.
Yeah.
You guys remember back in high school?
You know what I mean? Yeah, high school.
Crazy time.
Yeah.
It was
Anyway.
a magical time, you could say. Good stuff.
Yeah, truly. Many horror tales from that, but again, they aren't related to ghosts. Far worse, far more terrifying.
More physical.
Yeah. Physically scarring.
Much worse.
Yeah. Anyways, so those are a couple of personal ghost stories we have. I also have another one really quick. This one, when I was younger, I went into the kitchen, I looked out the back window, and I saw walking through the woods a really large Native American-looking man. However, he was completely white, like clothes and all, like a completely white. Like it looked like a man had rolled in flour and then walked through the woods. That's how white we're talking. And I remember I ran to grab a camera to take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back, he wasn't there.
Dun, dun,
So,
dun.
I mean, either he's really fast or he was a ghost. So,
Or You're extremely slow.
One of the three.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I would say based on that, I know how fast Dan is. He's pretty quick.
I'm fast.
I never seen him look for a camera before,
Never.
but I'm guessing it would be just as quick as his running speed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty fast. So I
Well,
would
thanks.
say the odds of someone else in the woods being faster than that, pretty slim.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to go with option B, ghost
Yeah.
spotted.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ghost spotting confirmed.
Mhm.
Again, many ghostly things happened in my life. Probably why I find myself working in the area that I am, which is paranormal research,
Mm-hmm.
cryptozoology, that sort of thing. It just suits me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going on to other famous ghosts, I guess I should bring up. If you guys have ever done the I forget the name of the game. It escapes me. You go
Guess
into a
who?
bathroom. You go into a bathroom, and you lock the door, and you say Bloody Mary 3 times, and the lights have to be off,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta have lit candles, and you gotta have a perm, and then Bloody Mary will appear, some sort of ghost. Again, I've never tried it. I don't own candles.
I'm too afraid to try that, man.
I would try. I never owned a mirror.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can
I
tell.
couldn't do it.
Actually,
Yeah.
West Virginia doesn't actually know what he looks like, believe it or not.
No.
No, and we're not allowed to tell him.
Oh, shoot. All right, we're getting a call coming in. I'll take this one, folks.
Yeehaw. So, the Bloody Mary game, I don't know how that sort of thing began.
Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine some kids heard a tale of a woman dying in the bathroom named Mary, and
She was all bloody, of course.
yeah, and of course she was bloody, and trying to reach her. Perhaps they were friends with her, or
Maybe.
family friends. Sort of like a neighbor who like brings over like banana bread and that sort of thing every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they're trying to contact her that way. Sam, what do you
All
got?
right, so our caller was calling in. He wanted to know if we ever heard of a renowned Philadelphia ghoul expert. Goes by the name of Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've heard of
Oh
Charlie.
yeah.
You know, of
Yeah,
the-
we know him. Yeah,
He's
he's
a pretty famous ghoul researcher.
he's done a lot of really great stuff in ghoul work. Honestly, a lot of the laws that we've actually listed for you guys, he cemented through intense ghoul study. Of course, he actually has written on his tombstone, because he has sadly passed away. His favorite things are little green ghouls, buddy, and perhaps he'll be a little green ghoul one day, huh?
If
he's
he
We
lucky.
can only hope.
If he believes hard enough.
Yeah. Again,
Maybe a big green ghoul. Who knows?
yeah. Hey, I mean, he knows a lot about ghouls. He did a lot of really exciting research in his time, and I feel like he sort of passed the baton on to us, and now it's our job to push through.
Carry the torch
Yeah, and
to
continue.
the next spooky mansion.
Yeah, and continue this sort of dense research.
Makes
So-
sense to me.
Earlier we were talking about ghosts and their ability to be on boats and to float over water and that sort of thing. And of course, Sam mentioned that there's a very famous ghoul who actually has the same ability. And that, of course, is the Flying Dutchman, the master of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Davy Jones locker keeper.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he's
Yes.
the one who has Davy Jones' locker, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
he
That's
is.
who. the
yeah,
flying
that is
Dut-
him.
Okay.
That is him.
Yeah. You're
Right.
correct. And he actually knew that. Sam was just clarifying that for the listeners.
Yep, it's in the database.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and first off, just to clean out your brains for you, when you hear us say Flying Dutchman or Davy Jones or that sort of thing, don't imagine the Squid Man from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nothing like him.
Absolutely inaccurate. Nothing like a squid, of course. What sort of man would be half squid? Outrageous.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's not what ghouls do.
No.
Ghouls are very clearly post-human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of a very
Not
large
post-squid.
green figure with a hat
Yeah.
and a squiggly tail
Yeah, yeah.
and floats. And
Absolutely.
his boat just as green as he is.
Yeah.
That floats also.
And a terrifying howl,
yeah.
you know?
Right. That's the kind of
Ladle,
Flying
ladle.
Dutchman we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. Again, Flying Dutchman, the tale of him sailing the seas has been around for a long time. And he truly is the man who controls the seas.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens on the oceans except what goes through him,
Exactly.
even to this day.
And all of his crewmen are cursed to work on his ship
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Dang.
pretty
It's
rough
like
stuff.
Yeah.
The worst internship ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But-
never ending.
Completely unpaid.
Yeah. But
Reminds me of a lot of stuff. You guys know the Flying Dutchman actually inspired some wrestling moves.
oh yeah,
So there's one wrestling move that kind of emulates the conditions on the Flying Dutchman's ship, and just the evil stench, the reek from that.
oh yeah.
So, you pull your blanket up over someone's head. It's called a Dutch oven, and it just kind of like reminds people of the dangers of the open sea.
Absolutely. Truly, truly evil. And there's been many reports of mariners back in the day to teach new skippers, a thing or two. They would they'd all get together and they'd produce these Dutch ovens.
Yes.
And they would force the skipper in there, and he would have to sit there under the sheets, absorbing this terrible smell, because those who betray their captain end up on the Dutchman's ship.
Yes.
And, of course, that is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a captain, stay true to him, because otherwise you will end up on the Dutchman's ship, and you'll be perpetually in a Dutch oven.
Mhm.
I've actually heard of a way to get off the Dutchman's ship.
What is it?
The only way is through the perfume department.
To the perfume department?
Yeah, they're always spraying you with perfume and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous way to try and escape. Many die. I don't know if any have
Mm.
escaped.
I haven't heard of any, that's for sure.
If that were the only way out, I think I'd risk it.
Yeah?
I mean, just imagine the filth that you would have accumulated. And I
Mm.
mean, as caustic as perfume is these days, I think it'd be a worthy trade-off.
But allow me to pose this. You have a terrible smell stuck to you, should I say, a perpetual Dutch oven stench that now surrounds you at all times. When you add perfume to that, wouldn't the fumes mix and you have an even more outrageously disgusting smell?
I think that's possible, but
It
we're
is.
also getting into peanut butter and chocolate territory, where
Mm.
perhaps you mix one with the other, and individually they're both pretty bad,
Yeah.
but together they're okay.
What?
So, just an
Bad?
example.
A peanut butter and jelly type, if you may.
Right. No one wants to just eat a spoonful of peanut butter or a spoonful of jelly.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, you want to put them together in a sandwich.
right, exactly. So maybe together they would balance each other out, yin and yang, the feng shui, and get you back on the right track.
I hate to go off on a tangent here, but speaking of mixing peanut butter and jelly, when I've been in the grocery store, I've seen these jars that have pre-mixed peanut butter and jelly.
Goober jars.
Wait, repeat that, please.
Goober.
Goober jars. I think that's absolutely outrageous.
It's pretty goofy
Yeah,
of them.
I think that's absolutely outrageous. I just don't see the merit in that. Like we can't mix our own jelly and peanut butter now, and I imagine the few times you would use that, it would all mix together, and the flavors would get mixed, and the proportions would get all off. It would ruin it.
Goofy
So-
goobers.
Goober, if you're listening, stop it. Stop. And that's my little tangent. Something that gets me really fired up.
Really grinds your gears.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely grinds my gears a little bit.
Really salts your crops.
Yes. Salts my crops, as
That's
Sam
what old
says.
Civil
Salts
War
your
said.
Crocs, dude.
Mhm. So, we're
Really
coming upon.
seltzers my water.
All right, we're coming upon the end of the show right now, and I gotta say, if you got ghosts in your house, I would say attempt to befriend them. Find out if they are ghouls or ghosts. Again, we gave you the rules already.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna want to approach a ghoul and try to befriend him because he won't be your friend. But a ghost could be a powerful ally. You could use him to play many goofy pranks on your neighbors
Exactly.
or your friends or your family.
Or yourself.
Or yourself. Yeah, just to keep things spicy and fun. Anyways, that's the show. WXJM Harrisonburg, Sam and Dan Show, 88.7. Every
Thanks for
Wednesday.
tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, 6
to
to
7.
7.
6 to 7 Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
We'll be handing over the sticks to the next show, the Brazy Bunch. So they'll be on next. But just remember, next week, we're on again.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to look forward
Yeah,
to.
definitely.
So don't forget.
Mark your calendars. And of course, thank you to West Virginia for being on the show. Always such a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Peace out, folks.
See ya.
Until next time.